Good morning, team. Good morning, chat. What's going on? All right. I'm a little annoyed because it looks like London had all the fun and all the levels got hit when I wasn't here. So this was a support zone, and then gold. This was my reject zone. Missed it. I was driving the kids to school here, and I was sleeping here. That's all right. Lots of opportunity left. All right, I am going to mark off levels. London low. We did open with a gap down, so that kind of makes me think that we're going to be bearish, but if for some reason it finds a base here, we do have a gap to fill. So gonna just stay patient today, honestly. Lots of craziness over the weekend, so don't really know what to expect. Good day to size down and be safe, you guys. Lots of movement on gold right now. Let's see if it kind of finds a support or if this thing keeps going down. So previous day high down here would be a gap fill if it comes down to 52.98 on gold. And then this at 53.13 is our low of day from overnight. So either one of those levels I could see us possibly bouncing at. I did have a good weekend. So we spent some time Saturday continuing to unbox things and unpack. Actually got a couple things put up on the wall as decorations. That was a big deal. But still kind of slowly working through that. And then on Sunday, we took a day off to hang out with the family because we had a pretty crazy week. So didn't get much unpacking stuff done on Sunday, but it was good. So yeah, that's what I'm watching on gold to see if it bounces at the current low of day, 53.13-ish, or fills the gap and bounces at 5,300. Those would be possible long opportunities on gold. And then NQ, I do have an anchored VWAP. My lines disappeared. There we go. This red line is anchored at the current low of day. It's kind of chopping around right there right now. We got market opening in 2 minutes. The green one is anchored at our current high of day. Red one is anchored at low of day. And then this is the session VWAP anchored at the open. So it's kind of in this zone. It's been chopping around there for the last couple hours. What do you guys think at the open? Are we going to continue this dump, or have we kind of found a bottom? That green bounce zone, that was a good level. What do you guys think? G-Man, what is the true day? I don't have that one pulled up. The way it's holding this low of day, anchored VWAP, kind of wondering if we're going to get a move up. Oh, I just meant what was the target. All right, market's open. Let's be patient, you guys. So London high is at 739. Asia high is up here at 900. Getting a good move up. I'm not gonna like FOMO into any longs just simply because of all the stuff happening over the weekend. I'm wondering if this maybe is just a retracement and then we get a move down. I could miss the move. I'm totally okay with that. The way I set my mind to trade today was to be super patient. I probably won't take anything until after the first 15 minutes, and I'm good with that. Just to let you guys know, unless something obvious happens, like if it just moves all the way up to Asia high and then rejects, or like a gap fill and then rejects, or something like that, maybe. There you go, G-Man. Went in your direction. Well, dang, you guys. See, this is what I was saying in Discord last night about how I personally, like, there's some people that are really good at just trading news. Good for you. I fully admit that is not me. Like, trying to predict how the market's going to move based on war news or CPI or PPI or interest rates or whatever. Like, this is doing the exact opposite of what I personally would have expected. So I know that I'm not good at predicting market moves based on news. I trade my levels. For me personally, war over the weekend, I would have thought we would be going down to like 24K. But my level, just based on technical analysis, it ended up holding, and now we're going to the moon. So I've learned my lesson. Trade my levels, not the news. Oh, man. All right, I'm watching gold on another screen. Like I said, this is our low of day at 53.14-ish. And this is our gap fill down here at previous day high. So possible long on gold if we get a bounce. I'm going to be patient because at the same time, NQ is going to the moon. And not that they're always inversely correlated, but they often are. $900 area rejection. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching too. That's Asia high, and it's also a decent higher time frame resistance area. But right above that, we do have the gap fill, which is around 944-ish. So 900 to 944, if we see a heavy sell-off in that area, could be looking for shorts. What a 5-minute candle, you guys. Opening 5-minute candle is 244 points. A lot of times that's the 15-minute range, if not the IB, the 60-minute range sometimes. Insane. All right, this is a good reminder, you guys. Size down today. Like, if you normally take 5 contracts, maybe take 2 or 3. Lots of volatility. Wild. This can make people feel greed. Yeah, I actually posted in Discord last night a screenshot of an email I got from, it was actually the futures desk. But they were just kind of sending out a nice reminder of being patient at the market open because we're going to have a lot of volatility. And one of the sentences in there, I don't remember exactly what it said, but just paraphrasing it, it said something like, it can be very tempting to use a day like today to like go heavy and make all of your profits in one day for the entire month, like to make your month in a day like today. But the other end of the spectrum can happen too, and you can easily blow an account if you don't do it correctly, you know? So I liked that email. It was a good reminder to like settle. What's that saying? I did our video on it recently. I always get the quote wrong, but slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That's an Olympic weightlifting term that I've always heard, but it applies to trading a lot too. Like, go slow, size down, take just a couple trades a day. That's the pace that's going to make you be profitable, not going all in on a FOMO trade and trying to make several $1,000s in one trade to like make up for all your losses or whatever. All right, we're getting up towards that Asia high. So kind of watching this area. If we get a nice liquidity sweep, we could look for a short. But I'm just talking out loud here. That was a massive opening 5-minute candle. I know overall our trend is still down because we gapped down. We were down all night and we still haven't made a higher high. But in the New York session, it's moving. So, taking a short, I would be cautious, is basically what I'm saying. All right, this is our 15-minute low as of now. How wild would it be if it went all the way back down to the bottom of the range and made a new low? Oh, this is crazy. It's coming back down to that New York anchored VWAP. Let's see if it holds. This is also like some higher time frame levels right here. Previous day low, previous week value area low, a higher time frame, like high volume node. So, I mean, if it holds this 760-ish level, could continue higher. I know G-Man was in a long, I think you were in it pre-market, so good for you. He took profit. Anyone else take any trades so far? Give me the scoop. What you guys doing? Anyone else braver than me and FOMO into this long? I know someone did. I was too chicken. No, I'm joking. I kind of set my mind to that, like, pre-market. I was like, don't take a stupid trade. Well, gold never came down all the way to that low of day, and then it started bouncing. So I might have missed the long on gold. It was just a couple ticks away from the level I was waiting for. Oh, Steve Wagner. Yeah, pre-market trades are tough. Like I like pre-market trades if I can put my stop loss at break even and it kind of just is a risk-free trade. But if I'm still like I can't put my stop loss at break even, then I get nervous too. Like I don't know if I want to sit through this volatility. I don't know if I want to risk that $200 stop loss. G-Man, did you take a long on gold? I know you were in a long on NQ, so you might not have. But dang, it was so close. This right here was the low of day, 53.14. It almost came down to it. That's where I was watching for a long. One thing I've noticed with gold is it doesn't quite touch the levels all the time. Like NQ, you know, it'll like go below it and kind of wick below a level and grab that liquidity and then move. Gold doesn't do that. What happened to my levels? It's like my screen's not loading. Ace Trades, what's going on? Finally starting to settle a little bit. All right. Our 15-minute opening range is almost set. So one possibility to watch for is a fake 15-minute opening range breakout and Asia high liquidity sweep and then correction, possibly. But like I said, that first 15-minute candle was super strong. So if anyone's taking a short, be careful. I'm preaching to myself here too. I'm going to be patient if I take a short. We do. So thank you in the chat for saying that. Red folder news. 9:45 manufacturing PMI, and then another one at 10 o'clock. So there was one that just happened a minute ago, and then another one in 15 minutes. And then Trump has all kinds of meetings and signings and medal ceremony and all kinds of stuff today. Plus, you know, the looming war news. So lots of stuff going on. Artist Deluxe. Well, thanks for stopping by to say hi. Don't feel bad. We got plenty of silent followers in the chat. No, I know some people are like trading and working and like multitasking and doing a bunch of stuff, so it might be hard to come in and chat. But thanks for coming in and saying hi. Now that we have our 15-minute opening range, gonna watch and see what happens if we break out, grab that liquidity and reject, possible short, or if it breaks out to the upside like with volume and momentum and it looks like this thing is gonna continue, we could look for longs. The edge full gap fill is up to almost 25K. 24,998 is the target for a potential gap fill. It's only a 60% chance for a gap fill on a Monday, though, just kind of going by data. So nothing crazy. But it is a potential target to keep in mind if you are taking a long. All right, coming up, starting to peek outside of the 15-minute opening range and coming up to that Asia high. We do have more news in 12 minutes too, you guys, so I might be like extra patient and possibly miss trades today. I just know, like, I've gotten really good at reading my emotions with trading, because that's the thing that like totally messed me up for several months. I would trade emotionally and just do stupid things. So I spent a lot of time figuring myself out and fixing things and like putting in some systems to manage that. And I could tell this morning that I was feeling super anxious. Like, just first Monday of a new month and wanting to do well this month, plus all the war news. And now we have the volatility. So I'm going to sit back and like wait for a good setup. Just letting you guys know in case you're sitting there wondering, like, why is Krista not taking a trade? That's why. Because I'm at a spot on the charts right now where I could argue for both longs and shorts. And you guys know me when that happens. That means I probably shouldn't do anything. Shorts because we're kind of getting to Asia high and possible gap fill. But, I mean, how can you not say longs after that New York Open right there? Am I almost at payout ready? Were you asking because of like the feeling anxious part? No, I don't think it's so much because of that. I think it's more just start of a new month, news, volatility. I think part of it too is I got super. This is going to come out bad. I was about to say I got super excited about the news and the volatility. I'm not excited about the news. Don't think that I'm like excited about war, but it just adds volatility to the market. So I think I was excited about trading on Sunday. And then Sunday kind of opened up choppy and not super clear. So I think that kind of messed with my head a little bit. Like, I thought gold was going to go to all-time highs, and here we are, like, looking pretty weak. So that was just a good reminder for me to, like, sit back and wait for my levels. All right, so it broke out of the 15-minute opening range, rejecting down to VWAP. Let's see if it holds VWAP. That could be a long to watch. Jack Chan, yeah, I did take two trades yesterday, one win and one loss. I kind of got chopped up a little bit because, like I said, I had a little bit too much of a bias thinking that gold was just going to be a to the moon kind of trade. So I was looking for longs and forcing longs. I got one and I took another one, took a loss on it. It's looking like it's trying to hold this view up here. We do have news in 6 minutes. All right, I'm going to take a long here. 839 is where I entered. I'm not going to give it much room. I'm only going to go below this wick just because we do have news coming out and I don't want to risk that much. We'll see if it comes back up to Asia high and continues higher. If it does continue higher, we can look for potentially that gap fill. But that's kind of a crazy target. So realistically, let's see if it gets back to high of day. Around 900-ish. I was hoping that it would move up a little bit more before news came out so that I could at least move to break even, have it be a risk-free trade. By the way, you guys, haven't asked you. Go hit that like button if you haven't already. We got 100 people watching. Let's go. We have news in 2 minutes. Good morning, Derek. Emiliano, I would recommend either Tradeify or Lucid for beginners. Their rules, I think, are the easiest to understand and easiest for payouts. If I was to choose one, I would say Lucid because they don't have a monthly subscription fee. Most prop firms, like 95% of them, have like every 30 days you have to pay another evaluation fee if you haven't passed your eval yet. Lucid doesn't. So if you're new, that takes the pressure off because you don't have a pending charge coming up if you haven't passed your eval yet. You can take as much time as you want. So Lucid and Tradeify are my favorites. Lucid has a little bit of a one-up because they don't charge that monthly fee. Lukey, good morning. What's up? Lukey, I have to ask you, how old are you? Just every time I see your name, I think of like my little 8-year-old son's friend. I hope you don't take offense to that. It just sounds like a cute little boy name. Like, you know, like you're a 10-year-old. Come on. All right, we got 30 seconds to news. It kind of seemed like the market was waiting for the news, but not a ton happened. That was the excitement that we were waiting for. Well, that hit my stop loss. Let's try again. Wonder if I put my stop loss a little too tight. Not afraid to retry it, re-enter if it looks good. All right. Sorry, guys. I usually try to tell you when I enter a trade. I did re-enter, but I got distracted because I was taking that weird person out of the chat who like kept spamming with. Apparently, I don't speak very very good English. All right, 847 is where I entered. Sorry, guys. I didn't really give you guys much warning there. For a lucid funded payout, if let's say I've traded 7 days, but only 5 days were over the daily target, I'm sure I can request the payout amount of the total P&L, which includes the 2 days. Yeah. So I assume you're talking about the Flex account. So for the Flex account, to get a payout, you have to have 5 green days. So that can take you 7 days, it can take you 10 days, it doesn't matter. You have to have 5 green days, over $150 for a 50K account. And then you can request up to 50% of your total balance. So let's say you get to like a $54,000 balance, then you can take out half of that. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, there's Asia High. Debating on if I should close this out or not, because that was kind of the liquidity sweep that I was thinking might happen. I got my stop loss at 862, just in case it does come back down. Yeah, as our trader, that was a good spot to take profit. I'm debating. Because like I said, that is Asia high. It's sweeping that liquidity, but it's not, it doesn't look like it just wants to dump down, at least right now. I kind of want to see if it's going to go up to fill that gap. It's coming back up to Asia high. A lot of times a liquidity sweep is like continuation down. It doesn't travel back up quite that quick. Yes, Lucid allows gold. And from my understanding, they're not restricting the contract size. Like they just have their normal scaling. But both Tradeify and Lucid are not lowering the contract size like a lot of the others. Like my funded futures lowered it to where you can only take like 2 MGC contracts, and they're restricting GC. I would check the documents on what the restrictions are, because honestly, with how volatile gold is right now, I'm not trading any more than like 3 to 5 contracts anyway of micros. So if you trade more than that, you might want to check the documents. But I've never been restricted with Lucid when I'm trading 5. Long from 835. Let's go. My first entry was 837, 838. That was the one that just wicked me out. So maybe you had a better stop loss. All right, it's looking good. It's breaking above Asia high. I'm going to hold it for this gap fill at a little before 25K. See if it happens. 100 people watching, 46 likes. Go show some love. There we go. Let's go. I do like that level right before 25K. That's previous session value area high and the gap fill right there. So let's see if it happens. My alert won't go away. My stop loss, I've been trailing it. I'm at 888 right now. I don't know why my levels keep disappearing. I'll probably trail it a little bit more now to like 899. Of course you are, Verisat. Of course. Always going against my trades. I'll let you have a short for about 15 points, and then it needs to go back up, all right? That's all you get. Oh, come on. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's see if it holds this value area low. All right, Verisat, that's all you get. That's all you get. It's going back up now. You got your 15 points. I hope you took profit because now it's going to go back up to 25K. Making me sweat a little bit there. See, that's what I love about trading. Everyone can make money, even in the opposite direction. How cool is that? I think that's one of my favorite like trading experiences that I've ever had is sitting at a trading conference. And we were all trading during the New York session together. There were about 40 of us in a room. And there were like 2 or 3 people up at the front of the room kind of leading it, but no one was really copy trading. We were all kind of taking our own trades and then just kind of chatting and like sharing strategies. And it was really cool to see a lot of people were in the same trade, but for totally different reasons. Like this person was using volume profile and this person was using like Bollinger Bands and just like totally different strategies, but they're in the same trade. So it was super cool to see. I mean, you hear about that on YouTube, but like any strategy works. It's all about you and the way you execute and the way you manage your risk. But actually seeing it, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Tell you how to place limit orders on Tradeovate from the chart? Yeah. Click on it. Sell or buy. And if you want to change your quantity, just go up here and like type in a different number. All right, there's my stop loss. Now watch, it continues to go up. So in 11 minutes, we have our initial balance set. I think that'll be my next move, seeing what happens with the IB. Gold got ugly. I'm not seeing anything here. Look at that choppiness. I don't use hotkeys. And the idea of using hotkeys scares me because I would totally like click the wrong button and then not know which button flattens my position, and I would absolutely mess it up. So I just use my mouse. There you go, Alan Friedman. Same here. That's why I was trailing my stop loss pretty tight. I mean, not super tight. I was giving it a little bit of room, but It's like, I'm going to make sure to lock something in because today is crazy. Who would have thunk? Who would have thought we'd be making money on longs the day after war breaks out, or a couple days after war breaks out? All right, coming down to the 15-minute opening range high. Breaking below it. Let's see what happens at this New York anchored VWAP. See if we get a bounce at like 850-ish. If not, I mean, it could be retracing some of that initial opening candle. That's possible. I could see it coming back down to like 740-ish. Where is the midpoint of our range so far? Yeah, actually, if it doesn't hold at this New York anchored VWAP, I'd be looking for something down here. There's lots of confluence for this level. This red one, like I said, is anchored at the low of day. This is our session VWAP anchored at last night's open. And then we have the midpoint of our range around here too. So let's see what happens. That was a pretty good bounce off the 15-minute opening range high though. Are we in June contracts? I'm on MNQ H6 still. That's what my trade of 8 shows. Looks like it's still trying to move up. Kind of getting choppy here. Watching to see what happens at this New York anchored VWAP. See if we get a bounce here. We still have, actually, this is our initial balance high right here. IB has been set. So at this point, I'm just going to watch and see if it gets back up to the initial balance high, what happens there, if we get some sort of rejection, or if we pull back to this like 750 area. Might look for a long down here. But that's kind of what I'm watching for at this point. So far, it's holding this New York anchored view up. Kind of looks like it wants to bounce here. I have been trading since September of 2024. So almost a year and a half. Interesting spot here. So looking at the initial balance, like retracement targets, we're at the 25% retracement. The 50% retracement is all the way down here at 690. No. The 50% retracement is here. 770. $776. That would be the 50%. So someone was asking about edge full stats. It's saying that 84% of the time there'll be a single break and the bias is long, which makes sense because our first candle was super bullish. So long bias, single break, kind of makes you think that it'll at least go back and retest the initial balance high, which is right around 950, 948. And then from there, you can look at possible breakouts. So initial balance breakout. So it's saying that 100% of the time it'll hit the 0.1 extension, 40% of the time it'll hit the 0.2. So looking at what those are, I know the chart gets crazy when I have all these on. 0.1 is 981. 0.2 is 2516. And then if there's a retracement, like if we get a failed auction and you're looking to short back to a retracement on breakout days, there's a 41% chance it'll hit the 25% retracement and only a 23% chance it'll hit the 50% retracement. So that 50% retracement was all the way down here at 774. Not a great chance it'll come down here. And it's already at the 25% retracement. So those are some edge full stats if you guys are curious. Kind of looking like it wants to hold here. Might be a good trade opportunity if you can give it enough room and it holds this level to go back up to that gap fill that we were targeting earlier. It's a good risk to reward on that. It's just a matter of, is it going to hold here or is it going to go a little bit lower before it comes up? I definitely have a long bias. I just don't know where it's going to bounce first. Well, it looks like that's where it bounced. Did anyone get in that long? I didn't. I was watching it. I didn't pull the trigger. Now watch, it's going to go back up to that 25K target. There you go, Drifter. Let's go. Gold just died. It had that really good dump at the market open. Now it's just consolidating here. And from what I can see, it's kind of consolidating in the middle of nowhere. Not seeing anything there. So one thing to possibly watch for in gold is one setup that I like is if the fibs, the 0.5 and the 618 line up with VWAP, you can take a trend continuation. So that would look like a short back down to today's low is what I would target. Put my stop loss somewhere right there. There's a trade idea if it looks good. All right, those of you guys that are in long on this, are you targeting initial balance high or are you going all the way up for that gap fill at 25K? What's your plan? Oh, Kovner Lee going all the way up to previous day high. All the way up to 25,100, huh? 25,100 is a pretty big level. If you zoom out to the hourly, that level has been pretty big resistance for a while if you look back. That general region, like 25,100 up to 120-ish. That's a big target. Drifter's going for the gap fill. Yeah, if I had entered this trade, that's where I would go. Gap fill and value area high are sitting in the same area. All right, gang, I think I'm going to hop off. I don't love the idea of taking a short at initial balance high, and I feel like the long is already playing out. I'm not guessing it'll come all the way back down to VWAP before continuing higher. I think the only trade ideas I would take at this point are if it does happen to come to VWAP, maybe. But really, if it shows weakness up here at 25K, I think I would consider a short. But that would be the only thing at this point. I don't even like the idea of an initial balance high breakout and retest, because it's getting late enough in the day that we might not have enough momentum to like continue up. Also, the risk to reward on that is not great. Like, I don't know. I mean, this might sound greedy, but that's only a 50-point target. I usually go for a little bit bigger trades. And I've already taken a couple of green trades, so I think I'll call it there. I'm trying to get better at like not sitting at the computer for 6 hours and taking way too many trades. So this is me trying to improve on that. All right, gang. I'll see you in Discord. If you haven't joined already, click the link, join Discord. Use code Krista if you're loading up on any more prop firm accounts. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.